Okay, guys, it's time. We watched Noan's PV and the new patch content.
最初に思い浮かぶのは紙のことだった。
What?
換気ダクトの裏の書庫は世界から逃れるための避難所だった。列車内で生まれた僕にとってそこは外の世界に通じる唯一の場所でもあった。
Guys, bear with me. Okay. We quickly need to talk about this, not because the video is buffering. But doesn't he look super dope? He looks like Clark Kent with the glasses.
選択を間違ったせいで僕はだから突き落とされた。
そう、侵食体が大量に近づいてきている。警報も無反応のままだ。一体どういうことだ。
早く逃げろ。
例の昇格者だ。なぜ彼がここに？
いや、どうしようもない。俺を昇格者にしてくれ。
僕が。そうだ。
What? Jonas Shrek? Oh yeah, there was a character called Shrek. Completely forgot him. Oh, did you see that graphic?
こんにちは、指揮官。改めて自己紹
Oh,
介。
Arka is his second name. Noan Arka.
これが
Oh, so yeah, you actually are into Noan. Well, that's a confession to make. Yeah, for me, he's a skip for me. I'm not really interested. I think in general you can just summon the uniframes you like the most. Don't need them all. They're just better A ranks.
僕の本当の名前だ。よろしく。戦いは苦しみから明日を遠ざけるために彼らの罪を清算しよう。これはベストコンビだ。夜を切り裂こう。
I mean, it looks super flashy. And how the lightning looks is pretty dope. New coding for Pulau. As a Vax, this means it's not for free, right? Homecoming. From what? From work? Of course. Wait, the Street Rebellion thing is coming back? This is getting a rerun? It's actually a funny story. A lot of interactions happen there. I remember from CN. Dance in the burns! So that's the new patch PV. And let me quickly check out. I need to check out the roadmap real quick. Yeah, okay, it's the guild battle mode updated. So, Offie put out a video. Did you guys see that already? Did you see that?
This video covers guild updates starting a Noan patch and lasting until Ela patch. Ela patch has some major changes that I'll cover in another video when the time comes. 15 second switching buff has been removed. Stuff like lightning strikes, bombs, freezes.
15-second switch buff has been removed. Huh. Like the main thing we had to conquer is gone.
Mines and such are gone. Bosses always have 30 HP bars and Dead Zone enemies have 5 HP bars, but they do get tankier the further you get. Respawn enemies have iframes and the duration gets increased every respawn. This also means it's no longer possible to do double damage kills, with one exception that I'll mention later in the video. In Dead Zone, you can use counters and executions. Trial characters have these abilities unlocked. New characters will always appear in guild during the patch and they won't take up a pick slot. Basically, if it's a new A rank or S rank character, then A rank or S rank stage will have 6 units to choose from, always including the new character. If it is a new uniframe character, then you'll have the option to select from 4 units. Airing Zone still has the same bosses, which are Wasago, Roseblade, and Kamu. Airing Zone added new bosses such as Lamia, Cute Shark, and Evil Shark. That zone has enemies such as Hanged Man, Guardians, and Sanctuary Guards. 2 patches later, they will get replaced by Rodents and Excavators. There are 2 combat styles which are required for you to select before attempting guild battles. Single, which focuses on solo play while giving buffs when using QTEs, and multi that focuses on switching as much as possible to get buffs. To select a combat style, there will be a button at the bottom right corner. You will be required to pick 3 skills. Also, if you want to switch between styles, there is a 5-minute cooldown after selecting one. Keep in mind, the final translations are likely to be different and global. Default skill is always locked in. When in QTE is trigger another character's QTE. Basically, this is a stronger Da Vinci effect, but you don't need to run Da Vinci.
Wait. You get a Da Vinci effect? What? 1 million damage QTE? Say what? Oh, single skills. And then the multi skills. Yeah. Okay, so first single skills.
Default skill is always locked in. When in QTE is trigger another character's QTE. Basically, this is a stronger Da Vinci effect, but you don't need to run Da Vinci. And before you ask, yes, they do not stack. Every 1 million damage QTE cooldowns are reset if the characters are not on the field. One thing to note that there is no limit for 1 million damage bonus, unlike in Old Guild, where our bonus lasted until 20 million damage.
I see.
If you switch out and use the switched out character's QTE, then it won't activate the RE QTE. But if you use the RE QTE when it comes up, then it will activate the RE QTE. You won't be dodging that much to trigger Matrix or even trigger Matrix at all. Enemies will just die before they can do anything if you're playing on anything besides trial characters. And even on trial characters, the only bosses you'll be triggering Matrix off would be both of the sharks. There are better options to select from. While the skill is active and you use QTs again during that duration, the skill's effect won't refresh its duration. On the other hand, if you use QTEs and switch the character out, then that character will still gain orbs even off field. You can also gain orbs during time stop. If you trigger both QTs, then this skill will trigger twice. These triggers can crit if you use basic attack. Special basic attacks like Skyre's uppercut, spin, or Garnet's free pink follow-up basic attack will deal elemental damage instead. This skill increases stage time by 40 seconds.
Oh, this is a must pick.
Mark activates once you QTE 6 times to trigger an explosion that does 30% of the target's HP as damage. It does pierce, meaning during this tiny window you can actually do double damage kills, but it's quite difficult to line up such a scenario. Also, this only works until 20 million damage threshold.
He's talking so fast.
Respawn iframe duration is already around 1 second here. This also includes the pierce part. You can also switch between characters to maximize QTE usage. Beta Mark is very easy to trigger and has effects depending on your team. Same class effect activates only if your whole team is made of the same class. Best example I can give you would be Dead Zone, since all the characters there are Vanguard.
For those who don't know what's currently going on, we are checking out Offie's video about the upcoming guild update, because guild will change completely. It's a complete guild overhaul. Yeah, this is Offie. It's the first video where we hear him talk. Can read after update because we're gonna forget this anyways. Yes, yeah, you're right, because it's very detailed and already spaced out for a few moments already. But yeah, he's currently talking about the single skills you can select, the solo skill section, and then there is the multi-skill section, and it depends on your playstyle. Multi-skill is if you want to swap constantly between your characters, and the other one I think is yeah, you have more free in this regard. Skill combinations. Oh, that could be interesting. The most viable skill combinations.
Now I'll recommend most viable skill combinations for each combat style. This is the most used single setup. I also like to call it the explosion setup, since the main gameplay goal is to proc alpha mark as much as possible while still trying to time your burst with your QTEs. This setup is very rarely used, mostly used when doing solo Skyra, and that is assuming you have your own built one. In the future, Crimson Weave can benefit from this skill combination. Most use multi-setup for your own constructs. Just like I mentioned in multi-alpha mark review, all you have to do is to switch 4 times minimum every 20 seconds to keep the skill running. This setup is only used with trial characters when you can benefit from the multi-beta mark. This also requires you to switch a lot more often to
okay, interesting. I don't remember this anyways.
executions.
More HP damage and execution, what? Yeah, on the dead zone you want to constantly execute the enemies, I think. So this could be interesting.
Like I mentioned earlier in the video, in that zone you can use counters and executions. I don't recommend using executions for the first 2 patches for a few reasons. We are doing way more health damage than execution meter damage. This does get properly adjusted later. With the new aggressive enemies, when we execute them during mid animation, the respawn ones will right away aggro you. You rather battle enemies in their spawn location. Rodents and excavators don't do that unless you hit them. Some execution animations take too long. Counters are really slow too, but the enemies should never get the
Wait, doesn't it time stop during the execution? Well, if not, that sucks.
chance to attack you since you will be abusing multi-switching. You definitely want the enemies here to be matrix locked. After those 2 patches, executions will become a viable option. And this concludes everything I wanted to say about the new guild update. Personally, I find the new guild update really fun to play, but at the same time I do dislike some things. Like I definitely do miss double damage kills. I definitely do find the iframes for respawning bosses really annoying. Like at 90 million damage, iframes go up to 4 seconds, which is really ridiculous, but I do understand why they exist. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, okay. So for the next 2 months after this update, we should not focus on execution and counters now.